get a better understanding of what things were like back then, Julia. And I think you can take us down memory lane. But start by telling us, where were you 60 years ago on June 1st when Kenya gained self-rule? Take us through that day.
I was in Nairobi. I was in Kenya. And it was not the same. I had been already going to school. I was a student. I had gained college-level education. I was at the Royal Technical College in Nairobi. So we were among the batch of young people in this country who were seeing the transformation with a lot of joy, because we had come through a very difficult system where we could not cross the streets of Nairobi. They were exclusively for a certain group, the British then who are here. And of course, the Uhuru Highway had also just been constructed. So for us, that day came with a lot of joy, jubilation, just like it came to a lot of Kenyans, all Kenyans, I should say so, because the struggle that our elders had gone through, we saw it, and it had to win us jubilation. That, like my friend Ethel says here, lot of expectation. It was, we have reached what we've been wanting. Of course, those who had been fighting and were still in the forest were not here to celebrate with us. Yeah. But those who are here, we saw it as just like dawn of the day. And with a lot of expectation, everything was almost coming on a silver platter. But then that's why, quickly our leader, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, coined the spirit of Harambee. Yeah. It was not going to be one person. It was going to be all of us. It was Uhuru for all of us, but not just received on a silver platter. It meant now hard work, sweat to achieve. And so what we had achieved from the British government was good in our sight at that time, but not adequate for us to move on. Of course, they went away with their skills. Yeah. We had to adapt our own skills. They went away with their money. They went away with their intelligence. Those of us who were at school, then it behoved us that we must now apply our intelligence. We apply our skills. Our leadership must come together and start to grapple with the issues before they grow out of our scope and become the magnitude now we are at that Gato is talking about. So things have changed. I have seen a lot take place. I can count on education as one area. And of course, that's where we draw the skills, that's where we draw the strengths that can battle with the issues that are now confronting us, economic, social, development, what have you. We have to use that. And we have to anchor education in all that we do, so that every child that comes up is properly educated, is given skills, is given understanding of the role they have to apply. They have to understand that it's better to live in a clean environment. How do you achieve clean environment? It does not just come. All of us collectively have to work towards it. Then second, of course, we were very patriotic. We were extremely patriotic. We looked upon our leaders, and of course we wanted to borrow the best out of them. Unfortunately, some of us as a nation remain with the old British mentality, colonialist mentality, thinking that things are just going to be moving that way, the way we had seen them live so comfortably. They were also working hard to retain that comfort that they were enjoying. And therefore, probably we have not put in as much of our own thinking to ensure that leadership is not just being in front there and being saluted. It means hard work.
I just want to make reference to what you said, because I'm so curious, and especially for those who perhaps don't really understand the significance of this day and why it's so important. Can you tell us a little bit more about what life was like under the British government, and therefore why was it such a great deal to gain independence? You talked about the fact that, you know, when you walk down the streets, you know, there was a lot of segregation. Take us through some of your personal stories.
There was segregation, that is one, but opportunities were also limited. There weren't opportunities. Most of our people were in the countryside. There were very few Africans in Nairobi here, and the streets, as I said, were exclusively for the class of people. The hotels were classified, no Africa, no dogs kind of thing. So that used to really hurt us every time you wanted to go into a hotel. You saw management reserves the admission. So you didn't go there. It was still for women, we had no interest to any of those positions. You had to have a man to hold your hand. And where are you going to get your husband from the rural areas to come and hold your hand across the streets? A few of us who had gone through this education and were working here, it was also still difficult. So there was a lot of segregation. You could not enter certain places. Two, opportunities were few for us who were going through even the education at that time. Training was limited because there were not enough training institutions. And three, opportunities to work were also limited. So very few were really in employment. Homes were difficult to find in Nairobi. We had sections of the Nairobi that was for Africans, sections of Nairobi for Asians, sections of the Nairobi, the Mtaiga and what have you, Kilimani, were all, you know, areas where only, you know, domestic workers crossed the streets to go there and cleared out in the evenings, so nobody was there. But that having been done, I think what's important was for us to gain independence, self-rule, to feel that we too can look after our own affairs as a nation. And for that, we had a challenge now in front of us. And I want to thank the leadership that was here at that time for having confronted it and picked it up and started building on it. Of course, they are not here anymore, but they passed on the torch, and the torch is going and going, going from leader to a leader, a president to a president, but also from a generation and a generation. So as we grow up as generations, then the challenges face us of growth and development, of sharing of opportunities, of taking care of what we have found here, because the roads are not ours to develop. And we want to thank those leaderships that have been there, that have seen it necessary to grow this nation, to give us the infrastructure that we see today. But it comes with a challenge, economic challenge, social challenge, which not one leader can do alone. We need to bring in our collective thinking.
Right.